Hello everyone, my name is Relax and Panic, and this is the last reaction to Made in Abyss. As always, if you want to see it, please go down in the descriptions, and you will find a link where you remove the circumflex dot parts and replace them with real dots, and you will see the reaction. Once you've done this, you might consider coming back here, and I'm pretty sure you will have reasons to, and hear me out what I thought about this episode. So, see you soon. For those of you who have come back, welcome back. Well, I really took myself 5 minutes, but I'm still completely gone. What an episode. I really lost it. There was a tough one. In the middle when it really went down, everything, you know what I mean. I was really thinking about stopping it there for a moment to get myself back in, but I punched through. But it was not an easy one. I think I have never written down so much for an episode. Which is, I mean, it is a longer one. It is nearly an hour. So there's a lot of reasons, but there's a lot of information and a lot of things that fit into places now. Characters who are new and hard and really harsh decisions to be made. So let's get talking. First things first, when this series was in the poll list, when people said you want to watch this, you want to react to this, it would be something that is interesting for you. I think already in the beginning many people mentioned that it is a jolly series, but it has a lot of darkness in it as well, which could be seen partially in the past when there was, as example, when one of the kids was like strung up naked in the orphanage as for behaving badly. I think it was Rico in this case, and many other things, like Ozen was like another step, another milestone, the way she behaved to test if those two kids are ready. And it definitely culminated here. And I do not mean the fact that Rek was killing Mitty. That is not dark in this meaning. I can see why he did it, and in the end, very likely it was the right thing to do. What I mean is the fact what this new character, which we now finally have a name for, Bondrewd, what he is doing. Right now he is very one-sided, he seems very negative. But you never know, maybe in the future we will learn more about why he's doing it. I mean, he already claimed it is for the greater good. Still, even for the greater goods, using kids as using children as subjects for tests, as material in the end in his experiments, being fully aware that they are either dying or being transformed into those creatures. I don't know if they have a name. I mean, for many people, it can be seen as ultimately evil. There are moments where there's just something very dense, you know? If you see, if people go to prison for whatever they did, for murder, for even harsher stuff, for rape, and so on, there is very often one more layer. There's one layer where even all of those are agreeing that there's one thing worth, and that is when you do something, whatever kind of, against children. So that's what puts him right now on top of the evil list. I can only guess, you know. So if he even stated that he is aware of that being not a good thing. He stated he's using children from far away, orphan children, more neither because no one is missing them. Just not right. So that's one thing. As mean as it is, that did not get me as much as the whole story about Nanachi and Mitty. I mean, that one was the culmination. Because it is about a decision, you know, it is about the heart, and doing the right thing, although it pains you a lot. But let's just go through. I realized in the intro, so multiple things. There still is a compass in the intro, so I'm pretty sure we will hopefully see more of the compass in season 2. And yes, I will watch season 2 if it comes out. Although this one really was a kicker in the end here. I'm pretty sure the compass will be coming back into the fray somewhere in the future. I'm pretty sure that there was something new in the intro. There was a picture of Rico and Liza together, sitting back to back. I guess it is more symbolic, you know. It is not that they are like meeting very soon, but it is a symbolic thing. So I like that. And yeah, maybe season 2, maybe at the end of season 2, who knows. When Nanachi was carrying kind of Reg away back to her house, she mentioned that his belly button looked strange. So he fell asleep once again for 2 hours. Sure, had to. And his belly button was like bluish, blackish. There are 2 reasons that might be. One might be he was poisoned as well. He was hit by the stingers of his enemy in the last episode. So maybe it's a poison effect, but his body is able to absorb the poison to not be influenced as much. But that would mean that around his belly button is something that like accumulates the poison there and gets rid of it or anything. Or the other option is that the power for the incinerator is in this belly button area somewhere. Both options are valid. I think by talking about the incinerator and him falling asleep before she mentioned that, it might be pointing to the incinerator and the belly button area being somehow related to each other. But still, it could just be the poison. We don't know. Then they showed us the background, the history of Mitty and Nanachi. There were some things named. So there's a chieftain of the North, and Sereny is mentioned. I'm not sure if it was his name. So we finally got like a first glimpse on other nations. And it seems the different nations, I guess, are all allowed to work in the Abyss. It seems a little bit as though there are different nations working in the Abyss, because he looked, and his people looked very different to everyone else. Then we met Bondrewd and his men, the first time. There is this purple light scheme going on with those. He has this one, and everyone else has like camera eyes, it looked a bit like. So maybe it's just that they are all a little bit alike in the kind of what they use. They do not have the cave raiding equipment that the other raiders we've seen so far used, like Rico and Reg are using here. So I guess maybe it is a different nation. Question is if they're going in through the Abyss from the top there, if they are allowed to that, or if they're using like a second entrance somewhere else, which might be possible. I mean, we don't know. Maybe there is a hidden entrance, or they go from under the sea somewhere. He brought the kids down 13,000 meters. So that is very, very deep in the 5th layer. And as we have seen, his experiments go down into the 6th layer, so that when he brings them up, he can research what's happening. It felt a little bit like a hidden base. So I'm pretty sure in the next season or others to come, we will either be there again, or we will at least have to work with them again, or against them in many cases, I guess. Mitty, as she was portrayed, is a very happy and open kid. So Nanachi was someone who was living from the dumpsters, from getting food out of the trash, and was smelling alike. why she was having no friends at this moment, but she was very into reading. I mean, she found one book which spurred on her idea of going to the abyss. But she's very intelligent. And Mitty is the open-hearted, the kind person who didn't care about what the others thought. She took a liking in Nanachi, and that's why they became friends. So, as Nanachi stated, she was her treasure. So, not sure if it is about love there, but it is about true friendship at least. So really, really a liking. Nanachi is able to read nether glyphs. I'm not sure if this is common. I guess the others have read them as well. I think the letter that Liza, if it was a letter, sent up was in those glyphs as far as I know. But still it shows as someone who was living on the streets. She is already educated by learning herself. So really a clever girl. They mentioned very shortly, but I think that is a major thing here, that if anyone or anything dies in the abyss, the souls goes to the bottom of the abyss and transforms into something else, which in my opinion relates a little bit to the writing that they received in episode 1, I think it was. At the bottom of the abyss you will find me. So if you think that maybe it was mentioned here there that Liza might be dead, her soul should be at the bottom as well. I think she's not, but however, it was mentioned already that the writing is not from Liza, so it is someone else who has written it at the bottom of the abyss. Seeing that the father of Riko is dead as far as we know, it might be he did write it. What if it really is like that? That if you die in the abyss, you fall down to the bottom and get kind of revived in what you not sure if it is what you dreamt of, like, but in another form, as another human being, as one of the hollows, whatever. That might very well be. So it might be from the father of Riko as well. We shouldn't get rid of this idea. Then now that is really bonkers and strange, but time seems to change if they go down. So the further down you are, if you spend a long time there, it is not as much time on the top. What if in the bottom of the abyss time is even going into the wrong direction? So let's say if you're in the bottom and you keep a while there and you get back up, you might be before your own time. I'm sure it is not like that, but that would even give the possibility that this letter at the bottom, you will find me, is from Mitty. So that's really for your mind. There you go, explosion, goodbye. But as I said, I don't think so. But the important thing is here for the Mitty and Nanachi story. So the belief of some people, if you die, you will be living again in the abyss as something you dreamt of. And seeing that Mitty was in this state of constant pain and of crying inside this flesh shell she was trapped inside, by killing her, you freed her soul so that then she could go on to the afterlife, to be reborn, whatever you in this case think. So this is what it is about here. The test that Bondroot did, so he did like a double test. He sends 2 kids down. One is being cursed by the abyss with a normal curse, and the other one, if I got that correct, only gets the curse if the first one is dying or transforming. So it's like a filter effect, I think. I'm not sure how it is working. I guess like he is at least able to see or to use the curse as much that he is able to use one person as a filter for the other, like this cabins that they were in, they're in line, so it has to pass the first one, then goes to the second, which would explain why Nanachi didn't die, but instead just changed into her bunny form, because Mitty tried to protect her. I mean, she said it in the beginning, and he said it to them, if you want to keep your friend alive, you will have to stay strong, something like that, you know. Which is even more cruel, in my opinion. You know, he's playing on their friendship there as well. He's aware what he's doing very much. So Mitty changed into this flash form, and Nanachi changed into a bunny girl, which he mentioned before they tried as well to like mix man and other living creatures of the abyss to create a mixed form which is more capable of surviving. So I'm not sure how much, or maybe completely, Nanachi is able to withstand the curse. She was able to went up from 5 to 4th layer, where we are at the moment. So she went up from 6 to 5, changing into bunny, but she then carried Mitty from the 5th to the 4th layer up. So Mitty survived this, and Nanachi did as well. So question there is, are they kind of resistant to it? Because they have transformed into a creature of the abyss now. And I guess that's what the research of Bondrewd is about. So Mitty was more neither unkillable. She cannot die by time. She doesn't need to eat. She even if you hurt her, she regrowth. Which is another experiment that Bondrewd did. So he chopped off her limbs to see if they grow again. Yeah, man. Thanks a lot for once again proving how good you are. So that's why in the end Nanachi, after all, took her away. So she carried her, and that's why she was hiding, while they were hiding from other cave raiders. Because the one that they met, the first cave raider they met, was Bondrewd. And you see what he did. I mean, you can completely understand that Nanachi was, we have to hide from cave raiders. They are the evil, you know. So that's why they were hiding there. And Nanachi was completely focusing on healing and on poisoning, both of it, because the last thing that Mitty was crying was kill me, you know. So she tried if she can heal her somehow, and once that didn't work, she tried to kill her without pain, which is a major thing, I can understand. But nothing worked, you know. All the poisons she used, it didn't work. So she even used poisons that cave raiders carried in them when they were hurt by possibly one of the stingers, as example. We had the scene with this dying cave raider with this, she was keeping alive, I guess. So I guess she couldn't heal him. But she kept him from dying because she wanted to see if she can use this moment to kill off Mitty. And thus it didn't work. She then instead killed the raider, as the cave raider, as it should be, and even apologized. So she is really a good person. You can see it. After all that has happened, that's what you have to remember. Other persons might have instead gone and killed every raider they have seen, instead of even trying to rescue them. But that explains the graveyard in the back, as example. So then we had the cooking. Although Rek tried his best, there's no question there's only one real cook in this show. And that is Rico. Definitely is. And I liked it. So that was good. And Nanachi liked it as well. You could see she was eating it. I was just waiting that they push their plates to her so she's eating even more. And when Rek fell asleep again, after using the incinerator, he saw Liza again talking to him, and they were eating together. So there is way more a background story with him and Liza, and he just lost the memories. But they are coming back, and it seems very often when he's unconscious. So that might be a thing to test. Then they had the healing water, which is a nice thing. The kiss. And the what is happening with you moment, whereas like Nanachi is a bit of a creep there as well, watching them, you know. And she's like, come on, get together. I would like it and I would watch you. I see the similarity here that Nanachi pointed out by saying that Riko is the treasure of Rek, as Mitty was the treasure of Nanachi. So that's why she jumped in. When she felt Rek crying out that Riko doesn't die, there was heart in it, you know, there was feelings, there was real emotions and pain. And that was why she acted in this way. And she wouldn't have had done otherwise. So she wouldn't have been rescuing them if they were just being killed and he was like trying to save her normally. It wouldn't have mattered so much for her. But in the moment that she realized that there is more than just camaraderie, you know, that there are deeper feelings, that's what hit her. That's why she jumped in and saved Riko. They cut out the shrooms. That was a harsh thing to watch, no question, but it was necessary. And it is good to see that it seems as though Riko is at least getting a part of her abilities with the hand back, so she's able to use the Samba already. And I guess in the next season, hopefully we'll see even more of her hand start to move again and again. Right now she's carrying a glove they made for her, which she can at least use partially, so that she can grab and hold a little bit. And she isn't broken at all, which is interesting. So there's no real struggling at the moment when it comes to that. She's really pushing forward. Maybe we'll see a little bit of struggle in the future, but it seems as though not. So let's go to the main thing. The killing of Mitty. That was harsh to watch, especially because in my mind a lot of things go around while this is going on. So Rek was struggling to do it or not to do. Especially he had to get a grip of the reasons first. He had to have the background story, which we learned. And then it is still, even if you agree it is best, which is a hard decision to make, it is best for this person to die to end the suffering. It still does mean you have to kill someone. And that is not an easy task to do. It is one thing if you're in self-defense, even then it is not easy, I guess. But to kill someone because it's good for them, as strange as it sounds. You know, if you see life has always something positive. And that's why ending a life is never good. So even if people have pain, they still have a new day, they have new chances, they can have a joy and everything. But here it is so harsh, which was, once again, after it was once more emphasized by Riko, that she realized while being trapped, and I said it in the last episode, it looked a lot like Riko was looking like Mitty there, like her own body was changing, she couldn't talk, do anything, and she felt pain, and she realized that on the other side of this door, symbolic, there was a girl crying who had even more pain, and was crying all the time. So since the moment that Mitty was transformed, she was having pain, endlessly pain, and that is something. Yeah, that's a moment where you have to ask yourself, who decides it? Who decides that this person should stay alive? In the end, in this moment, it should be the decision of the person. But even that, they took away from Mitty. She couldn't end her life And even those who were close to her, Nanachi here, couldn't help her there. So that's why Rek was the only one, by having the incinerator, who simply does not cut off simple parts or anything, but completely dissolves you, shatters you apart. He was afraid of that Rek was afraid that Nanachi would follow. I can completely see that. I can completely see this fear. So there was a very deep bond between those two girls, which I think even strengthens and deepens on Nanachi's side later on. So he made her do a vow not to kill herself after it is done. So I can see that. And it shows that he was not thinking about himself, which once again shows that he's a good guy as well. He was thinking about her too. And then he agreed. So I was already devastated at this point. You know, I was already gone. And then, when it's getting back, Nanachi did this with all the puppets, with the stuffed dolls and stuff. You know, this, as the Vikings did with a ship, where you put in the best things that the person had that died. So that they go with this person to wherever the soul is going. So she did that as well. And that got me. And still gets me. Screw you all for it. Nearly done. Whoa. Whew. So that was a tough one. Nanachi then stepping back in, stopping him again, to say her goodbyes is something I understand. Didn't make it better. And you have to think about, if you're in the position of Rek, who is struggling with it, you know? Being stopped and then have to do it again. That is a harsh thing as well, because he got this resolve up to fire the first time, and then he was getting stopped and had to get this resolve again. That's a tough one as well, and well, that's something he will have to bear to have with himself all his life as well. So, deep episode with deep meanings and emotions, and whoa, man, whew. One can just hope that they don't do this again to us in season 2. And by us, I mean me. Because I'm not ready for that. So, the series overall. Let's this episode. Let's talk about season 1. Although this was a pain to watch in the end. But not one that would mean I wouldn't want to watch another season. A pain in the meaning of getting a grip on me. Although that happened, this is a really good series. I can see why people recommend it. It has a lot of things in it. A lot of depth here again. There we are again. Death and depth, yes. Powerful meanings of questions you can take over to your personal life. Hopefully you will never have to question yourself about things like this. That's something I really wish for you, that you will never have to be in a situation like that. And although that might be far-fetched, there are situations like that in real life. If you have people who are close to dying, as example being run alive by machines. That's those moments here. So I hope for you you'll never have to do something like that. But apart from that, we have the theme of friendship and camaraderie, which here is very much a slight hint of love, or at least let's say interest. But at the moment for me it is about a common goal, about looking up to someone. So Rek definitely looks up to Riko in my opinion, because she's so determined with her goals. About good people and bad people. As example here would be, and this, I know someone will like me hearing that, good people Ozen, you know, bad people at the moment at least, and it will be nearly impossible to change that. The newest member of the group, Bondroot, right now the evil one. But about good people having to act bad, are forced to act bad for the benefit of others. Once again, Ozen here, who has to be mean as like a last test, which I can see, to save their lives. Otherwise, if they wouldn't have passed that, then they would have died. So it was for the good. A tale of mystery, and of a lot of mysteries, hell of a lot of mysteries, which they use by the relics, what they're capable of. The Abyss as a whole, what is it? What is the reason for the Abyss? What is behind all of it? Wreck himself, what is he? Where does he come from? Liza, why is there just this message? Who sent the message, really? And so on and so forth. So there's a lot of mysteries. And it's all very much interwoven into each other. So that is really, really good done. Really well done. Very, very well written. On top of that, which especially in the first episodes very much blew my mind and still is in there, is an incredibly beautiful world. That is art which they created there. So it's the ideas of, you know, floating islands, of lush green grass, of waterfalls, of a misty fogged area like we had in the layer 4, of just this cave, this one in the whole layer 3, which looks very bland and not interesting, but has a depth in life in itself that is interwoven with each other. So whoever thought of this and everything additionally that they put into it really is a genius. That is an incredibly interesting world, and that is the Abyss itself, an interesting world. So I can see that people like it, because I do. I mean, I forgot to put it back on, but there is one of the pictures there. I have another one here to my side on a small one where all of the Abyss is hanging right now. So by the way, 13,000, there we are. I think I even see the base there. So really, really good series. And I will definitely watch season 2 once it is available. So I hope you liked the journey. Although it's hard to say, I liked the journey as well. I think there is a short trailer for season 2 out, like a teaser. I will have a look into it. Definitely will. And this is it. That's the end of the journey for now, but not forever. See you once again on one of my other videos, or I will see you on the bottom of the Abyss. We will see. Where we all reborn as strange guys on YouTube videos. I have no idea. This is it for this time. My name is Relax and Panic. Goodbye and out.